Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel again. I'm Ragnar Pitla. In today's episode, we're going to talk about Microsoft's one version updates, product quality updates, and how we can do the upgrades. So I would like to talk and discuss more on what is feature management, what is one version update, and how does it work. So I've prepared a few slides and we can go into feature management and look at that as well. So as we jump into this one, I can show. So Microsoft one version service update, what is it actually? So in 2018, Microsoft introduced the one version service updates. Basically, instead of doing updates over once in a while as a big upgrade, Microsoft has decided to do 8 updates over the year and gives the ability for the business to be able to pick and choose what time works for them. So one of the key things to know is Microsoft releases these updates on January, Feb, March, April, May, July, August, October, November. These are like the 8 months that they release these 8 updates. Though they release 8 updates, it doesn't mean you should get all of the 8. There is understanding of when to use them, how to use them, but just for now, we need to understand that there are 8 updates that come with the Microsoft D365 F&O. And what is actually one version update and why are they important? The key thing for me is basically it reduces the expected downtime, as these are incremental updates that Microsoft's doing. So the downtime will be low, but it kind of does not add up because we still need to do regression testing and everything for these updates, but the amount of changes actually reduce, and then it is somewhat feasible for companies to be able to understand and look at these features or any changes to these enhancements. It reduces some time for the business to like adapt and learn or grow with few updates every time. This schedule is basically already pre-built before the beginning of the year. They release all where they are. I'm going to show on Microsoft where you can find them as well. So these are the 8 updates. I will talk more into the product quality update or proactive quality updates they are called. So basically, let's say 10.31 is from February and in March. Basically, I wrote it down as 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. Basically, 31.1.1 is the first release, the first general release. Ideally, we do not recommend you to go live in February. If you want to go with 31, ideally April would be the best time to go with it, as any bugs, any fixes, any hot fixes will be showed in the 1.3 more than the 1.1. Early release is great for you to test and do other things, but it's not the version you should go with your production in February. You should update your production sometime in April, and I'll go more in depth in the next slides going forward. Also, one version is one of the things that Microsoft wants you to have automation involved. The updates can happen automatically and you can schedule them on what time basis and when would they happen. Most companies don't do it, I've not noticed, but there is an option for you to update these settings. One of the good things is any new feature, you don't have to enable it automatically. They are all disabled, other than some key things that Microsoft suggests that they are key pieces for that version. So this enablement can be done automatically, but then you still have to go in feature management and then enable all these features accordingly. So feature management is actually a key part of this whole thing. Basically, feature management helps you to enable these features or disable some of them, and also understand which features are default by Microsoft for that version. So you can do some regression testing and understand more in those. So one of the ways we suggest using feature management is like when you can update the release, then you can do technical validation. Then from there you can go into the feature assessment. That's where you do all your QA, quality, UAT, other testings, and then the feature enablement. So basically you could upgrade to 31, 32, 33, but still enable these features at a later date based on how your UAT and what you're doing in the company. So I'll just show basically here in my demo version. Basically I can show that here is the feature management. And you could see feature management actually gives you like couple of options, right? The first one is this is a key thing. Do not enable new features automatically. That's what we suggest. That's what we should be using. Also, you could enable new features automatically on your test or SIT environments. That could help you to like work with those. But ideally, do not enable automatically is a key thing. And you could see in this new version, we have a couple of things that came in. If I go to all, you could see actually which features were added when. You can do newest to the oldest, so you could see that these are all the new features that were added. And if you see the status, these are not enabled. And also Microsoft gives different things. So this one is enabled by default. So this is a key thing to look at here. So on by default is something when you upgrade, these features are automatically enabled. So you need to be aware of those. So that's one thing that you need to be very key about. And there are other options where some of these are kind of, you see this triangle mark. These features help organization perform, but the main thing about this is these are preview features. By enabling this feature, you are confirming that you have read and understood the preview feature terms. Basically, what is preview feature, right? So basically, in some of the features that they add, they are letting us know that it is in the preview stage. It's not a full featured product. So those are something you need to be aware of. And there are also certain things that the depreciation. So and there are also like how do we call it, dependencies on each feature. So this feature cannot be enabled with a certain feature. Things like that are some things you need to be considering when you go there. And once again, let me get back here. The other also is sometimes there is some features that if you enable, there is no revert back. A few features you can enable and then you can disable them as well, but some of them you cannot disable. So if you could see, this feature has disable function. So those are the things that you need to be considering when you're enabling a feature to make sure, is this feature that we really need, or is it a feature that I can disable if something goes wrong before I get into production? So if we get back again, so like I said, we can go with the release and go with the upgrade, and then do the assessment and the feature assessment, and then enable them at a later stage, even after going live with a new version. So couple of risks associated. They are not technically risks, but over the years I've noticed with different companies that a lot of companies do the upgrades, but they do not enable features. That's one thing because what's the point in not enabling the performance enhancing features that Microsoft's releasing? So we need to be enabled. And here you could see there are 333 enabled, not enabled features here, but that's okay. You only need to enable what you need, but also sometimes companies need to spend more time on understanding what is this actually giving me, and does it add value? There is enough information here, but it's pretty much on the surface level. So you need someone like a solutions architect or some lead developer to be able to understand what this feature entails and understand. Also functional consultants should be able to understand most of it. But if you're looking at any feature that has much more back-end processes, you need to work with your developer and solutions architect on those. And like I said, you don't need to enable all, but also this is one of the drawback is some companies are upgrading but never enabling the features that are required to be in those. And the other one is the proactive quality updates. This is something that I've noticed a lot. So like I mentioned, we go into the early release. So if I go back to one of my old slides, people are updating in February, but there are proactive, these quality updates that come 1.1, 1.3, and these updates are not actively added, and they are somewhere in LCS that not many people go in. So it's very hard for companies to understand that, oh, these updates are available. There had been a couple of bugs sometimes, that issues with SQL Server, issues with some batch jobs that are not running efficiently. In those cases, Microsoft released these quality updates in March or April, but the plan for them was to go with 3.1. So from February till May or June, these kind of issues were underlying within the F&O for a long time. So that's one of the thing. I'm not able to understand what proactive quality updates are. And here is one of my example is what is the recommended thing from my experience so far, and even with other companies that I worked so far is, so for a release of 31 in February, ideally we suggest 1.3 proactive quality update is what we need to wait for, and there is schedules for these. We can show them in Microsoft. So if we go here, it shows about what are these proactive quality updates overview. And then once you look here, if you go to the release schedules, I've already opened here, and you could see that these PQ1, PQ2, these are all in a certain period of time. So ideally, if I want to go to 32, my plan would be to go to 32 sometime in May, not in March, right? So if I'm trying to go to 36 or 35, ideally the goal should not be in July or August. It should be in October sometime. Then you can go to 37 later on. So that's one of the things I've noticed. So here is just a baseline suggestion of, like, let's say we have to do around 4 updates every year. That's what Microsoft suggests. You could do 4 at a time, 4 over the period of time. The way we can look at this is, if I go in April, then I can go in July, then I can go in October. In February, it gives enough time for UAT and other things. But also, you're going with the latest final version of 33 in July, so you don't have to worry about, you could go in 34, but if there are any bugs or something in that one, they're not caught up to date, because not all companies are using them already. So you're going to be the guinea pig in the first month of July and August. So ideally, our suggestion would be is to go sometime in July for 33, and then for 35, ideal time would be sometime in October. And then basically, what are the quality? We already spoke about this. Where can you see these proactive quality updates? So these quality updates are in your LCS. This is one of the screenshots from my old times, or somewhere I found it, I guess. Basically, if you see this one, someone's on a version .89, but the proactive quality update has come for 1.1.1.1. And this is what you need to be aware of. This is in LCS. So in LCS, you should be able to go there and look at this update, and it actually gives you the list of what are the bugs for that version and things like that. I'll try to see if I can find a screenshot and put it in here. But for now, this is where you go view the update, and then you get the details from there. So that's the video that I wanted to make about understanding how this proactive quality updates works, and what is the best suggested recommended approach for going live with different versions. And I will also put all these links about one version, basically how it works, how can you update automatically, how can you validate. These are all in Microsoft Learn already. And you can also see the release schedule for not only the proactive quality updates, but also for your one version release plans. What are they and how are they set up, and everything as well for finance and operations, for POS and other things. I'll put all these links in Microsoft in the YouTube video. So thank you so much for watching. This is just a brief introduction of how do you upgrade your finance and operations. So please feel free to comment below, or if you're a company, these are some things you need to understand as a manager before you go in, or you should rely upon your solutions architect or your developers to understand which release cycle are we going and what are the best options out there for you. So stay tuned for more videos. Thank you for watching, and appreciate your support here, and I am happy that you are watching and hope this adds some value to you. Thanks again. Have a good day. Bye.